Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Avani Ratan. I'm a consultant clinical psychologist and I'm here today to discuss and learn with you the concept of dialectical behavior therapy. We are currently on part 3 which discusses about DBT strategies. So what are DBT strategies? So the first DBT strategy is that we look at the communication style. The first one is reciprocal and the other one is irreverent. So starting with reciprocal communication, so by definition, it is about sharing with the client. It is giving and taking. It is an interaction where you are warm and genuine and treating the client as an equal. This also includes the often controversial strategy of a therapist, self-disclosure. Alright, so here the reciprocal communication style is give and take, where the client is an equal, and also we are looking at therapist self-disclosure. The other major component of the reciprocal communication style is validation. So here we are also looking at validation. So what is validation? So validation is a main acceptance strategy in DBT. So Linehan defines validation as communicating that the client's responses, they make sense and they are understandable given what's currently taking place in their life. So validation means taking the client's responses seriously rather than discounting or minimizing them. So Linehan notes that the effective validation requires that the therapist recognizes and reflects back to the clients the intrinsic validity in their reactions to the situations and the events. So there were 6 different levels of validation which were identified. First is listening and observing. So the therapist actively tries to understand what the client is saying, what they are feeling, what they are doing, how they are demonstrating genuine interest in client and actively working to get to know them. So this entails the paying close attention to both the verbal and the non-verbal communication and remaining fully present. So here we are looking at the verbal and non-verbal communication. Also, we are being fully present as we are trying to get to knowing the client, and also we are showing them a genuine interest to understand them. Second is accurate reflection. So the therapist accurately and non-judgmentally reflects back the feelings, the thoughts and the behaviors which are so on expressed by the client. At this level, the therapist is sufficiently in tune with the client to identify their perspective accurately. Articulating the unverbalized. So the therapist communicates to the client that she understands the client's experiences and responses that haven't been stated directly. So in other words, the therapist interprets the client's behavior to determine what the client feels or thinks, which is based on her knowledge of the events. So here the therapist picks up on emotions and thoughts the client hasn't expressed through observation and speculation based on her knowledge of the client. So this type of validation can be very powerful because while clients often observe themselves accurately, they can also invalidate themselves and discount their own perceptions because of their mistrust fostered in them by their environment. So this becomes an exclusively important stage. So validating in terms of sufficient but not necessary valid causes. So here what do we do is that the therapist validates client's behavior in relation to its causes, communicating to the client that her feelings, thoughts and behaviors make sense in the context of her current and past life experiences and her physiology. Could be any sort of biological illness also. So the level of validation goes against the belief of many clients that they should be different in some way. For example, you might have heard this sentence that I should be able to manage my emotions better. So here the idea goes against this idea of the client that they should be better or different in some way. So validating as reasonable in the moment. So the therapist communicates that the client's behavior is understandable and effective given the current situation, the typical biological functioning and the life goals. So it is important for the therapist to find something in the response that's valid, even if it's only a small part of the response. So you could take an example that letting a client know that it is understandable she would resort to cutting herself because it provides temporary relief, even though it doesn't help her reach her long-term goals. So that you would be providing her the validation as a reasonable context into the situation. So here, treating the person as valid, radical, genuineness. So the therapist sees the client as she is, acknowledging her difficulties and challenges, as well as her strengths and inherent wisdom. So the therapist responds to her as an equal, deserving of respect, rather than seeing her as just a client or a patient, or worse, as a disorder. So, level 6 validation involves acting in ways that assume that the individual is capable, but that this must come from the therapist's genuine self, and at this level, almost any response by the therapist can be validating. So, the key here is that the message that the therapist's behavior communicates and how accurate that message is. Now, coming to the irreverent form of communication. So, irreverent communication is the dialectical opposite of reciprocal communication. So, while reciprocal communication is about being warm, genuine, giving, irreverence is blunt, it is confrontational, and it makes use of honesty, and it is an offbeat sense of humor at the same time. It relies on a well-developed therapeutic alliance. So if the therapeutic alliance is missing, you will not be able to communicate in this particular manner. And it also develops on the therapist having a good understanding of how the client will respond to this type of communication. So most importantly, irreverence is not meant to be mean-spirited or invalidating. So this type of communication must be followed by validation, warmth and support, or it can be construed as more of the invalidating sort of the communication which the client has already been experiencing from their environment. So the point of irreverence is to throw the client off balance. So one of the goals here is to say something that the client doesn't expect at all. So Linehan, she describes a number of different kinds of irreverence, but some of the main qualities of an irreverent responses could be that it entails calling something as you see it. Sometimes this means discussing dysfunctional behaviors which could be self-harming in a matter of a fact way. An example would be telling a client she shouldn't kill herself because it will interfere with therapy. So irreverence is a straightforward and a direct way of communicating which is aimed at the aspects of the client that aren't fragile. Irreverence is a way of helping both the therapist and the client get unstuck.